Yo, 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 baby pops. Hey, y'all, it's your favorite perky barista, Juanita Michelle, and we are here at JM Enterprise where we tape the Broken Entrepreneur podcast. And we are in our third season. Hey, hey, hey. It's three of us today. Would be four, but we'll talk about that in a moment. But before we get started with this wonderful conversation that I'm so excited about, we want to talk about the purpose of the Broken Entrepreneur podcast. It was created not to celebrate brokenness, not to sit in brokenness, but to acknowledge it so that you can make changes, so that you can continue on your path to success. Again, I am Juanita Michelle, and I am the owner, proud owner, and founder of Third Perk Coffee House and the Soul Food Carryout. These ladies here, they know a little bit about food, okay? So this is two parts of a trio. We are the founders of the 6888, or do you say 6888?
That's actually right. Some people say 6888 and 6888.
It's actually,
6888 is easier.
6888, okay?
6888.
So we are going to find out how they got that name and how they got together, just all the deets. Now, I got to tell you, I've been watching them, and I have been like, I've been watching because I feel like this story is amazing. I love the fact that we have three very strong, independent black women who joined together as a force. I want them to tell their stories. But before we do this, I want to first introduce Debria. Debria is a soul food cooking diva, y'all. Okay? She is the owner of Divine Catering. And then we have Miss Jamaica, the soror. Okay?
On command.
She is my soror, and she is here. She is a consultant. She is the business mind, the developer of 6888. Okay? So, I want them to tell us a little bit about themselves, but before I do that, I also want to acknowledge Charlinda. Charlinda, oh my goodness, she is a military veteran like myself, and Charlinda is most famous for mud sauce, okay? That story by itself is phenomenal. She was given that recipe by her late grandfather, and maybe either Jamaica or Debria will give us a little background on Charlinda, who couldn't make it today. But who's going to start? Tell me a little bit about yourselves individually, and then we'll talk about how you got together.
I love for Debria to start. I like doing that to her all the time.
Okay.
all right, well, I'll start. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Debria Rice, and I am the owner of Divine Catering and Events in Dayton, Ohio. And I have been in business, it'll be 18 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. This month, actually. The next
Yes.
So,
Oh, wow.
I know, 18 years, it just doesn't seem like it at all. But I started a home-based business like a lot of food entrepreneurs, just out the house, just decided to start cooking. Cooking does run in my family. I have some chefs in the family. My grandfather used to own the Duke's Club in Jefferson.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Also, my great uncle owned a restaurant called the Ogletrees well before I was born, but that's where my dad learned how to cook.
Okay.
And my dad is the head chef of Divine Catering.
Oh, wow.
So we've been doing that, like I said, 18 years, and about 7 years ago I decided to go full-time. I was working at Synchrony Financial, partnered with Jamaica at the time. She and I had did another business together.
So you guys have long history.
Yeah,
This
yes.
isn't new for the two of you.
Oh, no. We came in as partners already.
Okay.
Yep,
I didn't know that, y'all. I told
See,
y'all.
we giving you good tea. You got to
all
ask
the
all the
details.
questions. You got to
Yes.
ask the questions.
Okay.
Yep. So 7 years ago went full-time, and then about 4 years ago is when we started this project.
Okay.
So that's just a little bit about me. I am married to a wonderful man named Daryl. A lot of people know him in the city. He is a mentor, a youth advocate, youth pastor. He does a lot of things. But we have two beautiful children, Demi and Denim.
They're the most famous.
They are.
Yes.
Especially that Demi. But But yeah, so catering, like I said, we've been doing that for quite some time. I enjoy it. Never saw myself doing what I am doing today, but it is definitely something that a path that God has me on, and I'm enjoying the ride, and I'm appreciating it. So,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Oh my goodness. And you get to do it with your family. It's a wonderful thing.
Exactly.
So tell us about you.
Sure. Well, my name is Jamaica White, born and raised in Dayton, Ohio. And basically, I started out in real estate. So my background is real estate, not in the catering business whatsoever. And I specialize actually in subsidized housing. And that is where my expertise comes in. So I started a property management company and just been kind of doing that from that point. And was introduced to, just different personal development books where it just talked about like expanding your income. I started understanding the importance of generational wealth. So, me and my husband at the time started like just doing different things, franchising, janitorial companies. We started just doing a bunch of stuff. That's how I met Debria. We joined another, like a direct sales company, and that's how I met her. But there was, after I had my youngest son, I was looking for another business to scale at that time because I had kind of downsized the property management company, and I like doing things. So I had called a few different people I knew that had scalable businesses, but maybe needed maybe the business end behind them, maybe. And out of the 3 people I called, Debria was like the only one that was like, here, I'm coming with all this information. I did all of this research and I'm open. So I'm very, very, very fortunate that Debria opened this opportunity to me because I had no experience in catering. I think what I was asking her to do was definitely putting her family on the line by saying, hey, let's get you out the house. Let's find a production kitchen. So we had a production kitchen before we opened up this one. And we're going to take on some debt and we're going to remodel this old Pizza Hut and turn it into a production kitchen. And we're walking out on faith right now because you're trusting me just based on our previous experience, not because we were childhood friends. You just know me from the business world. And then fast forward to this opportunity coming, kind of to her point, is just, it kind of worked out, especially with, like I said, with me having the real estate background and this being a development project and her being a caterer and Charlinda being the e-commerce, product guru, with us all 3 working together now, it just, to me, I know is something bigger than just my expertise or what I know.
Definitely
It's like,
Wow.
yes. Because like I said, she didn't have any reason to really trust me. Like to walk away from her. She walked away from her job when we started working together.
Wow.
Yeah, I always knew I wanted to be a full-time entrepreneur because of the experience I had with the other company.
Right.
It gave me that confidence, that boldness.
Yeah, we were supposed to be like in Switzerland
Yeah,
sometime.
what? I was going to be my own boss one day. So
Yes.
it gave me that, but I was just like, how am I going to do it? What am I going to do? And I always said, okay, God, if I ever have to get back on the phones, because I was in a call center, I was off the phone for 10 years. I said, if I ever have to get back on the phones, to me, that's my sign to just go full time.
Okay.
And months later, they were like, we're phasing out your position. You can either go back to the phones or you can apply for another job. And I said, okay, well, there it is.
Oh, wow.
So I stayed for a little while longer. I was pregnant with Demi, and I decided, talked to my husband, and I said, we're gonna do this thing. And it's all was happening around the same time. Jamaica had called. All this was like lining up. And I had Demi, went out on maternity leave, and I came back. The day I came back, I put in my 2 weeks. And that was the last time I worked a 9 to 5.
Wow. Wow.
Demi just turned 7. So.
Wow. So how was it transitioning from being inside your home with the comfort of a job, because that's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So having the comfort of a job, being in your own home, and then going into a commercial space. What was that transition like?
That transition was very ghetto.
She always says that.
So ghetto. Because if I wouldn't change it. So I
Okay.
would definitely do it again. However, I would have made sure I was a little bit more prepared financially.
Okay.
So it was a very rough time, and I did way too much at one time.
Okay.
So we signed the lease in August.
Mhm.
My husband and I bought a house
Wow.
in September, October.
Mhm.
Demi was born in December, and I walked away from my job in March.
That's a lot.
And then it's like, let's work this kitchen
Yeah,
at the
like,
same
okay,
time.
and you just renovated this kitchen. Go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And-
Because it has to make money.
It has to
Right.
make money. And I suffer postpartum, so I'm sure I could have been doing more, but I just didn't have the drive. I didn't, so I was just at home thinking people were going to just like, no, I left my job and start calling me, start beating the door down like, can you come cater?
Right.
And that just wasn't wasn't it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very, very hard.
Okay.
For about 2.5 years, it was very, very hard. Things were rough. It was the transition just wasn't what I thought it would be.
Okay.
But God, yeah.
Absolutely.
I got through it, and we're way on the other side of it now.
Okay.
Thankfully, but it was a tough time. But it was a learning lesson. I had to do some changes, some pivoting, and all those types of things. And it was tough. It really was. But it stretched me. It helped me grow. All the things that you need. When you step out on faith, you're like, okay, God, I trust you, and that's what you have to do, and that's what we did. And even though it might not have been easy, I still trusted Him, and He still brought me through it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know in my beginning, because the coffee house opened in 2015, and when we opened, some of the resources that I thought I would have going inside were not going to happen. So it forced me to not be the entrepreneur that I wanted to be. Because really I wanted to own a coffee house, and I was going to sit back and watch.
Right, of course, exactly.
That's what the plan was.
Yes.
Okay? Because everybody who knows me knows that I want to be a lady of leisure. Okay?
Say lady of leisure.
So when you said being in Switzerland, I'm like, me too.
Me too. Yes. That is definitely my,
Like how's the coffee house?
How's the coffee
Okay,
house?
Yes.
I'll be back next
if
week.
you know me, that is definitely my lifestyle type.
So for me to go into the coffee house and then also have to become the best at everything. Because my best at everything, I really just wanted to let people know that I got this. Because I'm a great cook. I
Okay.
have good customer service skills. But I just wanted to show people how. I never wanted to be the person who was actually working in the space.
Right.
So, after 8 years of like the physical piece of running and operating and just doing all of the things, it's like, okay, it was a transition. It's like I am a professor of mathematics.
That's right. Yes,
that is
yes,
what I
yes.
So, and it's like, and that was my goal. I did not plan to separate myself from that. So, so the last 4 years have been very interesting because my life totally changed from what I thought it would be. So, and it's like, and it seems like you guys have been doing the electric slide too.
Yes, for sure. A lot of things happen in our quest to get to this point. We had a lot of we all had life changes.
Because life
to even
doesn't
get here.
stop.
No, it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. And even as you keep moving, it's like, it doesn't stop.
Like I tell people, I went from I walked away from having a corporate job when I was 27. So I've been really fortunate in my life to be an entrepreneur for a really, really long time. And, and to have done it pretty decently. I just didn't do all the right things with the money because I was like traveling, I was doing all types of stuff. But I hit a point in my life where, because I had a huge life transition, I had to go back to work, right? And start that process all over again. Start that building to trying to have, because my time freedom is that's probably the most important thing. I'll trade in a few, dollars for that if I can always have that. So I was like, and I'm also the type of person too, my personality type is like, if I'm focused on something like that, I will go into complete like survival mode, like work, or figure out. I'm gonna figure out a way to be in 15 different businesses if it gives me 15 different paychecks, to help me get to my next goal. And I went through that a little bit. I guess I kind of still going through that, but I went through that a little bit because my circumstances changed.
Okay.
You know, so this is all happening. This is all happening during COVID. This is happening at the time where everyone has stuff going on. You know, parents getting sick or
Yes.
you know, things of that nature. So it was just, you know, it's just, you know, having to start over to get back on that climb. It just does not look the way you think is going to look.
Right.
You know, it's very much
We
peaks
write
and
the
valleys.
plans.
Yeah.
We do. We write the plans, but sometimes they just twist.
Right, exactly.
So tell us, how did the two of you who had been in a partnership then join forces with Charlinda? How did that happen?
That's a good question. Well, at the time when Debria and I were at the production kitchen, we started opening it up to other food entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So at the time, we didn't know we were prepping, you know, for what is happening now. So we were renting out the production kitchen, and we were, it was full. We didn't have enough space to the point where she didn't have any room for her stuff. We were storing it at her house, all in the basement. So we started contacting the Downtown Dayton Partnerships, looking for space downtown. We have been working with them for about a year, just showing us different places, trying to find somewhere we would want to like go in and rehab. And Scott Murphy, he was, I think, the executive director at the time. He called or sent us an email and said, "Hey, there's a young lady I think you all need to meet. You know, she's also trying to build or wants to build a kitchen downtown too." We're like, "Who is this lady? Who's this lady from out of town?" You know,
What we do.
Yeah, I've never heard of this lady because it was funny. We've heard like of this person.
Yes.
People kept calling me about the space. They kept saying, "I'm working with Charlinda, and she says I need a production kitchen." And I'm like, "Who is this
Yes,
lady?" Like,
and we've never crossed
never heard.
paths.
I'm like, "No, I don't know who she is."
And we never met her before, but people were getting sent to us all the time. We were working, one of our tenants was working with her.
Okay.
I had no idea.
Wow.
I had no idea. So we had a meeting, our first meeting, we all sat down at a table and kind of mapped out the vision of kind of what we were looking to do. She mapped out what she was looking to do. And we were like each other's missing pieces.
Wow. Really? So what does Charlinda bring to the table? So you have the business development. You're running the catering kitchen. So what piece is she bringing to the puzzle?
So Charlinda's the executive director of our nonprofit, but she's also the creator and the writer of the education program. It's called Sharpening X.
Okay.
And that program is a program that we've connected to the kitchen to where you can come in and you can get the financial literacy and the education that you need to help run your food business. She has that background starting mud sauce, it's been 8 years ago now. She knows how to start from, you know, conception to the recipe all the way up into getting your product into the grocery store.
Okay.
She's in Kroger, she's been on QVC, she's been on Shark Tank. Like, she knows all about that. So when it came to the education piece of it, she had that. And then she also had experience in, when she was in D.C., in the military, she rented out Union Kitchen. And she saw that concept. She saw how it worked, how it helped her, how it helped other entrepreneurs, and just the growth of it. And she was like, this is a huge need. So she started off doing Taste marketing, where she was consulting, and that's, you know, when the people were calling us, we're like, who is this? Well, she was consulting. And she kept saying what problem she was running into was everybody she consulted. She said, well, you know, you need a production kitchen, you need a commercial kitchen. They kept telling her, I can't find one. And she said, this is a problem. So that was why she went downtown, and then they were like, connection.
It was like, you guys need to build it. Somebody needs to build a kitchen.
And that's kind of like how we got connected. So, you know, we all have our strengths and our backgrounds that just literally just comes together. You know, when we decided to do it, it was like, okay, that's her portion, you know, education, executive director. Charlinda is very, very intelligent. She's done a lot.
She could kill the Excel spreadsheet in
like
2 seconds.
Speaker.
I'm like, how are you finishing all that?
Now, like, she does pretty much everything. So, she's amazing. Then you have, of course, Jamaica with her background in real estate. program management, all of those things, and then you have me as a caterer. You know, I've never worked in a restaurant per se, but I have some experience, you know, in the kitchen, running the kitchen. So I know my way around it, and if I don't know it, I know somebody who does.
Absolutely.
So it's like those three pieces are pretty much what you need, what we needed.
Okay.
And that's kind of how we started. And things just, when I tell you, God is just like piece after piece after piece, and just putting it together.
Wow.
And not that we haven't had bumps, because we've had them for sure.
So listen, I looked at that camera like, listen,
we've definitely had
the
them.
bumps.
But again,
The
it's
bumps.
it's about growing and stretching and knowing that He is in charge of this project,
Wow.
not us.
Okay.
Nowhere near, you know. So yeah, so that's just kind of how we got together. That's what we all kind of bring to it, and that was 4 years ago.
Okay. So tell me about the story of the name. How did you guys develop your name? Where does 6888 come from?
Well, this is supposed to be Debria's turn, but
You got it.
what was interesting because we were trying to think of a name that like tied in kind of our journey as the three of us going through. Because a lot of what people don't see behind the scenes too is like the weight that is carried doing this project, right? So we were trying to.
Because sometimes you make it look good. And you guys are beautiful women.
Thank you.
So you're walking through, you look good when you show up. You don't look sweaty. You don't look like you put your hair out. You don't look like your feet hurt.
Right.
You know.
They do my knees.
Right. They don't know that you gained weight or lost weight.
Right.
or
Are
whatever.
you
So
getting
I
out the
would've-
hospital? Yeah, they don't know all
So
that.
they don't know those things. Or the deafs or the children.
Yes.
You guys are all
all
moms.
the things.
So, you know, so because sometimes we make things look easy.
Yes.
So people are like, I can do that. It's like, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yes. So tell us more.
Yeah. So we were trying to think of like, how can we encompass all this? Plus also pay homage to like Charlinda is a military vet, a disabled military vet at that. And then also pay homage to just Dayton being a source for military aviation, just, you know, anything surrounding that. So we were just going through a list of names. And this is not my strong suit, but Charlinda was doing some research and she came across the 688th Battalion.
Oh.
So we're like, oh, okay, well, tell us more about that. You know, let's do some research. So we started doing research and come to find out that they were, well, at one point, all female minority
Oh.
battalion. It was 855 women. And they sent them to Europe during World War II because at that time there was a backlog of mail that wasn't going out. So to equate that to today's time is like not being able to talk to your family on cell phone or FaceTime and you're overseas. Like that's hard, you know. So they sent those women over there with no military, you know, infantry experience. You know, they just sent them into this warehouse and said, hey, you need to finish this in 6 months, right? And they were able to do it in 3 months. And they had to take care of their own barracks. They had, because of course it was World War II and they're minority, mostly black women. And they had to take care of their kitchen, all of that. But the amazing part about it is that their commanding officer was Charity Adams.
Wow.
Yes. So
Wow.
yes, Lieutenant Colonel Charity Adams Early. Lived here, raised her kids here in Dayton, Ohio. There's a school here. Sinclair named, I think, a room after her. And when we found that out, we were like, oh my goodness, that speaks volumes because
Yes, it does.
those women were sent over there to do something impossible. They had something like that had never happened before. The fact that Charity Adams was from Dayton, Ohio,
Yes.
you know, and she like carried on the legacy and her, you know, while she was here too. We were like, you know, we want to share our story, but we also want to pay homage to them too.
Yes.
And it was to Debria's point, like why we really feel like this project is like really beyond us. The day that it was announced that, you know, we found our title sponsor, it was the same day that they received the Congressional Gold Medal. So when our stuff went out in the newspaper, theirs did too. And we're like, well, listen, we just so connected to them. I don't know. It just
Oh,
keeps
wow.
happening. It just keeps happening.
That's amazing.
And her children gave us blessings. You know,
Okay.
we had an opportunity to meet her children, and they came to the kitchen, and they were just like, "Thank you.
Wow.
We are okay with you all carrying on this light of our mother and all the women that fought during that time and created something that was amazing." So.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah, it's the connections are just, it's like, okay, they just keep coming. So.
Wow.
Yeah, like Tyler Perry's making a movie. Yep. My sister was an extra in the movie. It's just, I was just like, how are you getting that movie? You know? Yep. So.
He's making a movie about Charity Adams?
688. And I can't say, well, there's an actress that's playing Charity Adams. Very, very popular actress. That's playing Lieutenant Colonel.
With Mr. Perry.
Yeah, go ahead and send us some tickets. I can be on the.
Oh my goodness, that is
give me an outfit.
Crazy.
Like I said, this is all because we've been doing this 4 years. We probably named the kitchen maybe 6 months to a year after we started. So we were working on this well before we knew any. About there's a documentary out like before we knew anything. Okay. We had already decided to use that
the name.
Wow.
So that's why I said when we finally started getting traction, and they started getting traction, it happened at the same time, the same day actually.
Wow. So alignment is so important, and I don't think people. Well, sometimes we discount alignment, and when we make a choice because names are very important.
I agree with you.
Names are very important, and they do so much. So I'm like, wow, that is amazing. I mean, I'm very encouraged because it just really lines up with the rich history that we have here in Dayton, Ohio.
Yes, very much so.
I always say, and I said this well before the coffee house came along, I always talked about the fertile land that we have here in this area. I mean, we are the birthplace of innovation.
Yes.
Funk music.
All
That's
of right.
Good stuff.
Yes.
The 6888.
But yes.
You know,
Kitchen Incubator.
that kitchen. So tell me, when is this opening? I mean, we've been working on this, you said, for 4 years. So are we going to, is it going to open sometime soon? What's going on?
Yes. So the kitchen soft opening is coming up very soon.
Okay.
It'll be in February.
Okay.
So we are planning that right now. We are still in construction. We're still renovating things. They just did the floors, the walk-in refrigerators being installed as we speak. So prayerfully there are no delays. But the goal is to be open by the end of February.
Okay.
That's
So
a couple weeks.
tell me, what does the soft opening look like for a catering kitchen and the education space, like for myself or anyone in the community? How do we connect or be a part of your soft opening? Or is it for the crowd?
Well, the soft opening is not.
Okay.
The actual event is not.
Okay.
It will be our sponsors, donors, those people will, of course, are invited. So it's not a large community event. However, we are phasing the project, and this is the reason why. We're phasing the project initially, and this is just one of those hurdles, those bumps that you go through. We thought we would be able to fully fund the project and do the whole thing. Well, unfortunately, we didn't get all of the funding, so we decided to phase it.
Okay.
So phase one is what will be done in February, and we're going to do a soft opening for it, kind of get started with our first members. And the goal is to have the second phase open sometime by the end of this year. And once that's done, we'll have the grand celebration.
We want to shut the street down.
Yes, and everybody's invited.
So the community can come out.
Everybody's invited.
I love
to that.
shutting streets down.
Yes.
I know. I haven't done that before, but I want to experience it.
I'm shutting streets down in June.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm shutting streets
Can I get an invite?
down. Yes.
Okay, I want an invite.
Yes. It's not that hard to shut a street down either.
So we're looking forward to that. But yeah, like I said, the soft opening, even though it's not open to the public, it's going to be quite a few people because we've had a lot of supporters. We've been blessed to have funding from City of Dayton, Montgomery County. We received a federal earmark, Centerpoint Energy, Kroger. Jamaica, who am I missing? Like
I'm trying to make sure this is ones we can say.
a lot of people. I talked to catering today. We can.
Oh, we can say that now?
We just can't say the email.
We just got that.
We just got catering.
We haven't had a chance to announce that, but that's
Yes.
huge.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, Center Point. So we've gotten in-kind donations from Hobart, and
Penny.
So
Great
we
partnerships.
We have made some amazing
Awesome.
partnerships. But again, we are still fundraising. So we
Mhm.
are still meeting with different foundations and corporations and things like that to just try to get that support, because this is something that the community needs.
Very
It is
much so.
the missing piece. We feel the missing piece to the ecosystem.
Oh, absolutely.
you
I
know,
agree.
Small business ecosystem.
I agree.
It's just something that
Especially in this county.
yeah,
Yes.
for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
For sure. So the fact that we are at the arcade, the fact that we are directly across from the hub where all most of the small business resources are, it was just something that everybody's like, oh my God, this is so exciting. We can't wait, and so we're just glad to be a part of the ecosystem, a part of that missing piece.
Right.
Now, when we do open, though, we will have a retail space
Okay.
that people can come in and buy product from the members.
Awesome.
So we're starting off with a smaller space, and the larger space will open up in phase 2. But if there's a member there that sells hot sauce or whatever, they do meal prep, you'll be able to come in and buy from those people. So you can come and get your lunch or your dinner. So you will be able to come in the space, but it's just not open to the public as far as the kitchen's part of it if you're not an entrepreneur.
Okay. So tell me, if I wanted to be a part of your culinary space.
Okay.
If I want to come in and I want to develop something, I have a product that is like, oh, this is going to be great at market, but I need that space, that cooking kitchen. How do I get involved, and what does it cost? Is it a membership? Is there like a one-time fee? What does it look like?
Sure. Thanks a lot.
I took the last one, so we kind of go back and forth.
Even, this is definitely her area.
It is my area.
I'll do a high level overview. Now, if you would ask me about construction, I got you. Programming, I got it. But anyone it's really dependent on their experience level or where they are in their business.
Okay.
So, of course, there is an application that individuals can come in. Anyone can apply, right? And then we usually will do a consultation just to kind of see like where they are in their business. We'll look at their business plan and things of that nature. Because one of my goals is to help them scale out. So my job is to help them get them to where they want to get to.
Okay.
And then there's different membership levels from some individuals who are looking for 40 hours or more a week, or some people are just looking for like 8 hours a month.
Okay.
They're starting out. Maybe they just bake for their women's group or something. They just want to start out and maybe like take the Sharpen the X course to learn how to scale their business. And that's where Debris and I also come in to help them like grow. So it's like, okay, you make cookies, right? Let me help you book another job. Let's help you scale your business.
Okay.
So Debris can kind of tell you those different membership levels better than I can.
Okay. So what does it look like as far as like the investment? Do you guys have those packages already together?
So everything's on the website. It's 6AAAkitchen.org. We have 4 different packages that we've landed on, and the first 2 are hourly, starting I believe at 18 an hour up to like 22 an hour. And we do have
That's
just depending on peak.
reasonable.
Yeah, depending on your hours.
Depending on your hours, we
Yes.
have like a peak rate and a non-peak rate. So if you work at night, it's cheaper.
Right.
If you work during the day, excuse me, it's a little more expensive. But again, it's still not expensive. We're in the market range. Like this, it's
Right.
pretty much where everybody is. But if you're doing a little bit more, and I'm going to at least hit 35 to 40 hours every single month, then there's a flat rate for that, and then we have an unlimited rate.
Okay.
I believe that's anywhere between $1,000 and $1,300, depending on where you
Where
are.
they are.
So
Okay.
those are the current rates. Of course, we're kind of figuring this out, so it could change. But there's an application fee of $50. And then there is a $250 deposit, security deposit that you'll get back as long as when you leave nothing is broken.
Okay.
And then we have like a biannual or semi-annual a membership fee, and that just kind of covers gloves,
Cleaning, yes.
those kind of types of things.
Okay.
So it's fairly reasonable, and it's definitely a lot cheaper than going out and doing this on your own. It took us I think it was like $30,000 to put that.
That
1,000
production
square
kitchen.
foot production kitchen together, and that was with a hood already, and a walk-in refrigerator already.
Right.
So we had to put those two in easily 50, 60,000. You know,
Easy.
if not more.
No,
So-
much more.
Yeah,
Much
so-
more,
yeah,
right.
So
Because a hood by itself could be almost $100,000.
yeah.
Correct.
It's going to be somewhere
It's
between
really expensive.
25,000
Yes.
to 100,000,
Yeah.
depending
Yes.
on what type of space.
Yeah, what type of space.
And those numbers are very important because when you're watching and you're like, well, they just did a kitchen, or it's just, because some people will say it's
Oh,
just,
just,
or the little,
Yes.
and people kill me with the, she's got the
A little kitchen. She gets a little coffee house.
and even like, so even when you make those inferences, I crack up because a friend of mine, we were sitting in the coffee house. He's like, if you ever needed some help, I got you. He was like, I'll give you $10,000. And I looked at my Rex. Rex is what I call my espresso machine. And
Okay.
I said, well, Rex, that's $10,000. No, I'm sorry, that was $13,000. Because that's how much that particular machine costs. So when he was thinking $10,000, he's like, oh.
Right.
We could do the whole
We did
thing.
the whole thing.
No.
And it was like, no, this is 13,000. So when I said that, he said that's he said, oh, so if I gave you 10,000, you still $3,000
Sure, just for this.
just for this.
Exactly.
But that's the espresso machine, so that's a very integral part of a coffee house,
And that's kind of the point I like to make to people too, because we didn't mention there's only a 6-month or 1 year lease term, so they're having the opportunity to grow their business, not have to buy all of that equipment, not have to put in the initial cost for, like you said, a $13,000 espresso machine.
That's one machine.
That's just one, right?
Yeah.
And not have to worry about a lease. Like, when we did the initial production kitchen, I mean, thankfully we negotiated a great first year with them, but we were on, a 3-year, 4-year lease, and that's that's uncommon. Normally it's 5 to 10 years for most people. And if you don't know what you're getting into, those situations can leave you in where you're having to close your business down, So with the kitchen, it's like, here, you can really come into get in there and focus on your craft. You don't have to worry about the towel service, who's paying for
All
the
little
lights.
bitty bills.
Do you have water?
Do you have right? Who's calling the health department? They're coming in. You're not having to worry about all of those, the things you don't think about when you're, when I call, let's open up this production kitchen. Oh no, we have to get cleaning done, the floors, stripped. We have to have pest control. You're not thinking about any of that stuff. Cam fees, we're like, why are we paying for this?
Oh, my
What?
goodness.
What's included in that? No, you don't. You're not thinking about any of that stuff.
Well, I have a funny story. So, all you guys know that Third Perk is currently closed in our downtown
Ooh,
location.
that was my spot.
It's my spot too. I do miss it. I
be
miss
in there
it
working.
for so many reasons. For so many reasons, the Lord knows. But we did a transition, and we finally actually moved out of the space, and that was not so easy because you know how you kind of hold on to something.
Yes.
And it's like, I gotta go. But I was like Jennifer Hudson, kind of like, I'm
Well-
staying. And you
gonna love me.
you gonna love me. So I was really having I was very comfortable in the fact that the owner lives in Florida,
Okay.
and I didn't have to rush out of the space.
Good.
But she found a new tenant. And when the tenant came in, he thought he was going to get the keys on Sunday and open on Friday.
Aw,
Oh.
poor Tink Tink.
Right.
That's not how that works.
Tink, tink. So
Yeah, that don't work like that.
I said, well, we were having this conversation. I was like, well, I'll be out on this day. He said, well, I was planning on opening on Friday. I said, but you haven't did a plan with the health department.
Right.
You don't have.
Like, you talk to the city yet?
you
They're
haven't
backed
talked
up.
to the city.
Trust me.
Like for all of the things that you haven't done, So you have a whole list of entrepreneurs that just don't
Don't-
understand
Exactly.
the process. Again, when you make it look easy,
Right.
when you make it look easy, it's like I'm just right.
Right,
No,
right.
It's not just.
It's not just.
It's not just. It is
It's
a
not.
process. And even when you're going in and you're just turning the key, it's still a process in that because
Exactly.
you still have licensing
Yes.
to secure and
Yes.
Yes, even when it's all done, there's
Yes.
still a process. So, good luck.
Good
Well,
luck.
I know
Good
Friday,
luck.
like, you open.
Right, I know. I'm like, have fun. Have fun with that.
Fun with that.
Yeah.
So, like I always say, when we have guests, we also want to know about maybe a challenge that you guys had to overcome to get to today. So, what is one of the challenges that you guys had to knock down to get through?
Well, the first thing that came to my mind was we were in the process of building the kitchen, well, starting the foundational pieces of building the kitchen and fundraising when COVID happened. And that shut everything down for us, to the point where I was like, Debria, I guess I'm going to be moving out of Ohio. I didn't even think it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Because we were in the midst of talking to our lead title sponsor now, but we're in the midst of talking with them. There was a lot to go into that. So again, like she said, we make it look easy, right? Sometimes, but that fundraising aspect, it's a lot.
Yes, it is.
Right, it's a lot, especially depending on the amount that you're trying to ask someone for, of course. So that we were in the middle of that, and then we were in the middle of like mapping out the architectural plans and things of the kitchen. And then I think Charlinda was pregnant. She had the baby, I think, 2 weeks after COVID. So it's just like so much stuff happened. The world shut down. I'm in my transition phase at that point, the same month as her. So the same month COVID happened, she had a baby, I transitioned. And then Debria's trying to keep us all together, and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. How are we going to build this kitchen? We had a start date of this date. Now everything is pushed back a year.
Yep.
It just
Or 2 years.
or two. People are going to forget about what we're trying to do. So we were like really, really concerned that this may not happen, and then. This project, we know a lot of people are dependent on it, so we're like, yeah. So to me, I think that was probably the biggest hurdle, like getting over, like having that stop in productivity in all things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's definitely one of the big ones because we just didn't know. Like, I felt like, and my memory's a little bad, but I felt like everything just stopped for months.
Yes.
And I just was like,
I was like, I'm
don't
moving.
even- Yeah, I was like, I don't even think this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of
Wow.
those things where it's just like, well,
Yeah, that's what.
And then
Yeah.
all of a
I was like, I'm
sudden-
out of here.
Yeah, then all
In
of a
January.
sudden, at some point in 21, it was just like,
Yeah.
we just started getting emails again. It just, then things started to
December.
happen. But I was just like, I don't think this is going to happen. But it did, clearly.
Yay.
But
Yay.
another challenge I'll just kind of talk about, what I kind of talked about earlier, was with the funding. Because in our minds, we were building a 10,000 square foot facility, 2 levels. It will have, but when we first opened the doors, we felt like we would have all the pods, classroom, kitchen, a full retail space. In the basement, we have plans for
All the storage.
2 walk-ins, 2 refrigerators, 2 walk-in freezers, a member lounge. So we just knew that's going to be there on day one. That didn't happen.
Okay.
So it was time to make a decision. Like, we started this construction. We're moving forward. What are you all going to do? You don't have the money to do the full project, and we're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? So it was just like meeting after meeting after meeting, and we're run under a nonprofit, so we can't just make a decision. And that's the difference between a for-profit and a nonprofit.
Right.
If it was just Divine Catering, I could have said, well, just do whatever. But it's not. So we have to have a board meeting, and then we have to talk to the architect again, and then we have to talk to the
You've got to
contractor.
vote.
Then we have to talk to the developer.
Right.
All of these people have to come together and make a decision on how do we move forward.
Okay.
So now we have to kind of go backwards, do drawings again, all of those things. So that was a very nerve-wracking
Contentious
time
time.
because we didn't know, like, is this, what's going to happen? How do we do this to where we can at least open these doors for the entrepreneurs that need it now, but continue to say, okay,
Continue to develop.
yeah, continue to develop. So thankfully, it happened, but that was one of those
I
hurdles
agree.
where it was like, we
That
don't
was-
know what's going to happen.
Yes.
Wow.
Very stressful
But
time.
God.
But God.
I mean, so the one thing that I've heard a lot of in your conversation is that you've been really guided. You've been very faithful, and that it's worked out. Yeah, that's good stuff. I have a similar story. You can read about it in the coffee table book. So I do talk about my story and very transparent with it because we started the planning in 2013 to open the coffee house.
Wow.
The coffee house opened June 16th of 2015. And in 2013, this is funny. In my head, I'm opening a little coffee house. So I was like, I could make me $50,000 in 2 summers. Like, I was gonna, so
Like,
what I
I'm
was
good.
gonna
That's
do, I was gonna teach 2 summers. And between teaching in those 2 summers, I would be able to accumulate about 50 grand. Not really taking away from what I usually do or what I usually earn, but just focusing on those summers. So got 50 grand, my cash. I went to my first coffee trade show, and I remember I met this gentleman. His first name is Bruce, and he asked me, so how much money do you have? Or how are you going to fund your business? I was like, I'm self-funding my business. I've got this. So, and he asked me, he said, well, how much money do you have? And I very proudly said, I've got $50,000. And he said, so you going to the bank for the rest? And I'm like,
excuse me.
excuse me?
Did you see that hair flip?
This was before I knew that the espresso machine was going to cost me $13,000.
Yep.
And that you have to have water filters.
Yes.
And that the electrician may charge you $6,000 or the plumber may do this or that. Oh, architectural plans because it's not a coffee house yet.
Listen.
So all of these things you learn. And that first coffee house on 5th Street probably cost $175,000 to produce.
I believe
But
it.
the blessing in that was the owners of that space were so amazing. Like, they were so amazing because I actually landed in a space that was owned by architects, by electrical
Awesome.
engineers, by HVAC engineers.
Really?
Oh my God.
That works out.
So when you say but God,
yes.
So when I learned how much money I would need to actually open a coffee house, I made a couple of calls and I'm like, hey, would you guys fund so-and-so and so-and-so? Now, this was before the Dayton Entrepreneur ecosystem just
Right.
popped off.
Yep.
And I would say, hey, I'm doing this. Would you fund this? Da-da-da-da, blah, 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 blah. I said, I got pretty decent credit. I said, my only reservation is I've got student debt.
Right.
I said, but I don't have bad student debt because I've got a bachelor's, I've got 2 masters, I'm really close to a doctorate. So I've invested in myself educationally.
Right.
I'm a college professor, so this is, I'm educated. I'm
Yes.
overeducated.
Yes.
And my answer at that time was, well, no. So over the next few months, I made sure I got all my credit card debt down.
Okay.
And eventually I was denied for commercial lending because I had student debt. So, but at the time, I was $60,000 in cash.
It was It was a lot harder back then.
I was like, so do you stop?
Right.
Because either you stop, you lose $60,000, or you press forward with the investment made and pray that it's enough.
Yes.
So I feel like my business always operated under what my plan was. But God, sometimes you just do things, and I think because of the vision and the mission, I stayed focused on the vision and the mission, and I stayed focused on the plan. And because of those things, we did win awards, and we were recognized, and a lot of things did work out in that space because of those reasons.
Yes.
So I always tell people, I said, well, when you get lost, you just go back to the plan that you created. That's why
true.
business
That's
plans
true.
are important. Because if you go back to the plan, you're like, oh, yeah. Because I am ADHD. That's why I be like, oh, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do that. Because I get bored in the one thing.
I understand.
Yes. So before we wrap things up, tell me, like, if you were to close your eyes and to think about what you look like in 18 months.
Oh my goodness.
What does that look like for you and for you? It could be about the business. It could be personal. What does it look like? What does life look like for you in 18 months?
So what is this? This another year and a half?
We're talking about 2025.
Summer
around
2025.
July.
Yes. Yes.
You
I'll
know,
be
the
on
summer.
vacation somewhere.
July.
Yes.
2025. Where are we gonna be at? What's gonna be going on?
Well, for me, I would hope that the second part of the kitchen is open. The kitchen is fully funded. All the construction is done, and we have a full house.
Yay.
And as the executive kitchen manager, things are running smoothly. We're working together as a team. I'm not a babysitter, but I'm helping everyone. And we're just, that the vision that we have for the kitchen, that whole ecosystem, entrepreneurs coming in, getting the assistance that they need, all of that is just happening. That's professionally. And then personally, I actually would like to start speaking.
Okay.
I've done a few things, been on a panel or two. Public speaking is something that's always terrified me, but I'm doing better.
Okay.
So something like this would have just had me shaking in my boots, but I'm doing a lot better.
You did great, actually.
You're doing
You
great.
did really great.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's why I was like, you lead this, you go.
So
Yay.
that is something that I have on my goal. One of my goals is to be a keynote at some point.
Yes.
So hopefully by 2025, that'll be something that I can do.
Oh, that's right.
It's coming. And what about you?
I definitely agree with everything she just said from the business aspect of it. Personally, I hope I'm at the point where I am like enjoying the space that me and my sons are in. Everything that I try to do is all about impact. So I'm hoping that I'm using this platform to really just impact other people or show, I grew up in a way where it's like you don't tell people how successful you are. You don't tell them what you know type thing. It's like kind of just, like nobody knew I did real estate. I've been doing real estate since I was 25, but I never talk about it, So it's just like, hopefully by then I'm in a space where I am using those experiences to help other people. I'm not chasing, I'm a goal chaser, and I'm not doing that. I'm just like enjoying where I am, doing the right things, and that's just what I'm hoping. I hope my body is like snatched because I've been working out too. I'm snatched, so I'm definitely gonna be snatched. But just enjoying like this time with my sons and the kitchen, and taking in the opportunities that the kitchen is going to afford us, and becoming a resource to other people. That's really what I want to be doing the summer. And probably I'm going to be on vacation because I go.
Definitely vacation.
So I'm out of here.
Good for you.
Yeah, I go.
I plan on I'm disappearing a few times this year.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to,
I'm
what they
gonna
say, get
disappear.
ghost.
Yes. Yes.
You have to get ghost.
I did. Yeah. I'm going somewhere this year. Yes. So honestly, I was thinking about taking my education on the road and maybe going overseas and teach. For
That
like
would
a
be
whole
amazing.
year. Yeah.
So I'm one of these people that feel like, you should just try things and do things.
Yes.
I'm a risk taker. So it's just that's probably why it was easy for me to be like, you just quit your job, let's go. But, because I just feel like, so many people like get confined to a box or whatever, and they don't try stuff. It's like, oh, I've always wanted to play guitar, but you never even tried.
Yes.
So
Yes.
right now, if you're in a position to like, even if you're just there for 3 months or 4 months, it's like,
Yes.
why not?
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to
It's going to
meet
actually
people.
happen.
Yes.
Sitting, and I'm like, why is Juanita always there?
I'm like send you a message like, you need company because I told Debris and I'm out of here for a week.
And
I'll
I'll be
come
like,
visit.
well, you can come stay in my little wherever I am.
Yes.
So, but that's going to happen. I've already decided.
I love that. Yes. Go ahead and do
I've got a
it.
lot of things put together before I can actually make that happen, but it's going to happen.
Yes. That's exciting.
So-
I can't wait.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have learned so much about these ladies. I am so sorry that Charlinda wasn't able to make it with us today. But listen, in a few weeks, if you are a budding culinary artist, if you need a space to hone in on your craft, if you need a space to develop your products, and to be able to sell those products, you have to look them up. 6888.org.
Kitchen.org.
Okay. And
Go straight there.
We'll have that. It's right here. It's right here.
And I have all the information for membership. The numbers are on there, so we're completely transparent. You don't have to fight
reach out to us to find how much it costs.
No, it's all on there. Everything's on the website.
Great. And as you guys heard from their own mouths, there are challenges that happen on the way. So, and sometimes the plan doesn't go to plan.
Exactly.
But don't stop. Don't stop. So, you have been listening to the Broken Entrepreneur podcast, and I hope that you were able to take out a nugget. You should have, if nothing else, you should have been inspired by their stories. Their stories of perseverance, their stories of faith, their stories of team building. I am so encouraged, so encouraged. I am Juanita Michelle. I'd like to thank Jamaica and Debria for being here at JM Enterprise, and we hope that you keep tuning in to the Broken Entrepreneur podcast, and stay blessed. Peace.
Bye. Pew, pew, pew.